So it's new.
Mm. Ishita, I'm sharing the screen का link. हाँ?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so जल्दी से डॉक्टर मोहित सर, द फेमस डॉक्टर मोहित, आप भी बता दो यार अपने बारे में जल्दी जल्दी, एंड देन विल मूव ऑन.
Thing about being famous, yeah. So
बताओ बताओ.
everyone, this is Mr. Mohit. I own basically a house of brands. So we have multiple brand portfolios in health, wellness, and beauty segment. Principally, the three more popular ones are Fuchsia, which is into vegan skincare segment. We have Physiovit in terms of nutraceuticals as a space, and we have recently come up with Dr. Snug, which is into sexual wellness as a segment. These three
Okay.
branches have also have branch in medical instruments and pharmaceuticals as well by the brand name eCare. And
Okay.
we're based from Delhi, and I am particularly located in Noida myself. So that's
Hi.
more or less about me.
सिटी का
Hmm.
42081।
है क्या? अच्छा. रितेश सर. अच्छा, रितेश इज गॉन. Okay, I think एक बार I think who else is left? Everybody is done ना?
No, no,
शुभंकर,
I
you're
am
left.
left. Yeah.
हाँ, बताओ सर.
Hi, so I'm Shumankar. I used to work as a product manager at a SaaS company before, like about a year back. Now I run my own D2C brand, which is called Indiegogo. It's a
हम्म.
fashion play primarily centered around inclusive fashion. So we are size inclusive, women centric है, so gender inclusive नहीं है, but size inclusive brand, which we have been running for about 4 odd years now, 4 5 years हो
हम्म.
गए हैं. And yeah, that's about it.
सही है यार, कांग्रेस, ऑल द बेस्ट. इनफैक्ट
Yes.
D2C ब्रांड्स को हमने काफी डिस्कस किया है हमारे इसमें. वी हैव डिस्कस्ड क्वाइट अ लॉट ऑफ D2C ब्रांड्स. इसमें भी एक कहानी है. एक बार कुलमणि सर आएंगे तो उसके बाद हम डिटेल में थोड़ा सा टचबेस करेंगे इसके अराउंड. बट आई थिंक लेट्स जस्ट किक इट ऑफ. ठीक है. So I'm just sharing my screen.
ये क्या बोलते रहे?
क्या आप किससे बात कर रहे हो त्रिवन सर?
अरे ये ना, मेरी जिंदगी में 20 लोग एक ही टाइम बात करते हैं मेरे से।
अच्छा. अच्छा.
जब जब मैं आपसे बात करता हूँ, मैं आपसे फोकस कर,
अच्छा.
मैं
चलो
अभी
चलो.
म्यूट कर।
नहीं नहीं, चिल चिल. आप म्यूट कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. एंड वी विल किक दिस ऑफ. यस, वी आर इन द राइट पोजीशन. चलो. So, welcome guys to the 24th edition of the Builders Club Startup News Weekly. हमने इसका एक पीडीएफ भी बना दिया है जो कि हम सर्कुलेट करेंगे बिफोर द लाइव. एंड इन जनरल भी आई थिंक पूरे वीक में जो भी चीजें हो रही हैं उसकी सारी की सारी जानकारी आपको एक जगह पे मिल जाएगी. एंड दिस लाइव is where we get founders, investors, and a lot of domain experts to come and discuss about what is happening in the startup ecosystem. So, as usual, we'll kick this off with who got funded this week. So, इस हफ्ते $341.5 million dollars was deployed across 28 deals, out of which 310.9, which is almost 311 million, were dispersed across 9 growth stage deals, and then 30 million only for 12 early stage deals, and 7 deals were undisclosed. Uh, Talking about the growth stage deals, Farmeasy raised its I think follow on round $216 million from Ranjan Pai and Manipal Education. Then there is Kinara Capital, which is in the fintech space. They raised $24.4 million from Impact Investment Exchange and Blue Orchard Microfinance Fund. Then Portia raised its next follow-on round by for $20 million from Krishnan, from K Ganesh himself. And then there is Charge Zone, which is in the EV charging space. They raised $19 million from British International Investment. Then there is Infinity FinCorp Solutions, which is in the fintech space. They raised $8 million from Arkerman Capital. And then there is Go Desi, which is in the D2C space. They raised $5 million from Avishkar Capital. Then there is Everest Fleet Private Limited, which is again in the EV space. They raise money from Axis Bank for 4 years to add more EV vehicles to its fleet. Moving on to early stage deals. So the first one is Assert AI, which is in the computer vision SaaS space. They raised $4 million from Ramesh Hariharan, who's the ex-CTO and co-founder of Latent View, Prashant Purkar, who's the former MD and CEO of ICICI Ventures, Arya.ag, and then select angel investors as well. Then there is Brisk Pay. They raised $5 million from PayU to drive product development, talent acquisition, and business expansion. Then there is Nico Robotics. They're in the agri-tech space. They raised $9 million from Breda Innovation Ventures. Then there is Dexif, which is a fixed income products platform again in the fintech space. They raised $4 million from RTP Global. Then Plotline, which is in the SaaS space, they raised $2.6 million from Elevation Capital. And then there is Fresh from Farm, which is a B2B2C platform. They raised $2 million. This is their pre-series A round, which was led by Ashish Kacholia, founder of Lucky Investments, with participation from IPV Ventures as well. So, um, and coming to the cities, so Bangalore has 9 deals. Delhi, as usual, number two with 6 deals. Bombay, 6 deals. Vadodara, 1 deal. Indore, 1 deal. Jaipur, 2. Kolkata, and Hyderabad, 2 as well. So talking, I mean, I think यहाँ पे बहुत सारी डिस्कशन हम लोग यूजुअली नहीं करते हैं. We usually move on to the top news. But before the top news, यहाँ पे एक GrowthX का master class है on Sunday. In case you people are in Bangalore, you people should visit. The PDF is anyway shared. Plus, I think if you're already a part of the community, you would already know that the link is already there. So please, please, please go register. And I think this is costing around $500. But from what I know, the money will be refunded back if you people attend. This is happening in Bombay, in Bangalore, and we are the ecosystem partners there. Okay, moving on to the startup news of the week. सो सबसे पहली कहानी है सोल स्टोर के बारे में. तो सोल स्टोर का काफी इंटरेस्टिंग. द रीजन व्हाई वी पिक्ड अप दिस स्टोरी एंड आई गेस अ लॉट ऑफ B2C फाउंडर्स आर ऑलरेडी हियर, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ी सी डिस्कशन करेंगे, बट वी डोंट स्पेंड मोर देन 10 to 15 minutes over a story, so we just move on quickly from there. So basically 3PL प्लेयर एमिजा के कारण से इन्होंने अपना ऑर्डर प्रोसेसिंग टाइम 24 घंटे से 12 घंटे किया है, जिसके कारण से इनका कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस बेटर हुआ है. सोल स्टोर हैज काइंड ऑफ 250 करोड़ के आसपास का रेवेन्यू किया है इन लोगों ने, एंड their profitability is also up quite a bit. They're doing 2.5 lakh online orders every month. And the turnaround with Soul Store did is a case study in itself. I've been following their stories from around 2012, 2013. Yeah, 2013 is when these people also started off. And yeah, I think कहानी वही है. तो इसमें how many of you guys have actually used Soul Store? मैं थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में टच बेस करूंगा and then we'll quickly move on. But how many of you have actually used Soul Store amongst the people who are here in the call? किसी ने भी एक्सपीरियंस किया है अभी तक? Okay, so just to give you a few numbers, so this is an Inc. 42 article where they talk about what has happened. So basically, what they are saying that influencer marketing has actually helped quite a bit for them, right? So because of this collaboration, the startup has a lot of followers on Instagram. But what it also does is it increases their, celebrity endorsements have consistently improved their CTRs on ads as well as on the app on the website. So they adhere to two key principles: achieving profitability from the first order a customer places and maintaining a CLTV. So CLTV to CAC ratio, they say that they do not go more than 2.5 is to 1. And for context, 3 is to 1 is the gold standard, indicating that a brand has effectively invested in CAC and generated sustainable revenue. So this is, of course, for all of the people who are in the e-commerce space and people who are in the D2C space. I think these are a few metrics and a few strategies, or in case you people are not measuring it in the right way, these are a few metrics which you people should kind of focus on a little bit more. In context of D2C operations, where the customer retention rate averages around 28%, it is crucial to ensure a seamless customer experience beyond effective marketing and branding. Hence, to improve order delivery time, they basically got the third-party logistics player Emiza, who has 25 fulfillment orders, and because of which their overall um, turnaround time has also come down from 24 hours to 12 hours, right? So again, few key things, and Kulmani sir, आपके आते ही देखो Gen Z आ गया है यहाँ पे स्क्रीन पे. Fashion forward, fandom later, brands gear up for the Gen Z shoppers, and this is a trend which we are seeing across right now. That a lot of people are changing. So the consumer behavior of millennials versus Gen Z versus Gen Alpha versus millennials are very different. So what Soul Store has been successful is in creating a large base of loyal customers, while the millennial demographic is 60%. The remaining 40% comprise of Gen Z, and as we all know, आगे चल के अगले 5 साल में Gen Z, Gen Alpha ही सबसे ज्यादा spend करने वाले हैं, and these people are effectively doing that. So for that, they are introducing fandom-driven collections like anime characters like Naruto, and also keeping up with their audiences what these people are doing. Yeah, so 1/3 of the online shoppers fall in the Gen Z category, making the segment a pivotal force in India's consumer landscape. So I spoke quite a bit. I think मैंने summarize कर दिया इस पूरी की पूरी article को आप लोगों के लिए. And a lot of people who have joined us today are B2C founders themselves. Any take on this? I think Shubhankar, Viren, आप लोग तो खैर, I think people left. कोई बात नहीं. But yeah, I mean, Triman, Kulmani, Shubhankar, anybody has any take on this? Or we'll just quickly move on. Kulmani, sorry, after a late join here.
It is, it
No,
is
I'm
a
here
very
only. I'm not.
Yeah, Viren, sorry.
है
I'm here only. I didn't know that. Left.
नहीं
मैं
that's
इधर ही
fine,
हूँ
that's
अभी
fine.
लेफ्ट हुआ.
अरे नहीं मैं पूछ रहा था कि इसके बारे में कुछ है क्या, तो then we'll move on to the next one.
Yes, we can move on for them.
Look, they also do third party products, or they don't do third party products, sir?
इनका थर्ड पार्टी है सर. इनका बेसिकली क्या है ना, दे आर मोर ऑफ अ एग्रीगेटर ऑफ डिजाइन. ठीक है, और डिजाइन ये इनके पास पहले जो जमाने में दे यूज्ड टू हैव आर्टिस्ट हु यूज्ड टू मेक देयर ओन डिजाइन एंड सेल देयर कलेक्शंस यूजिंग सोल्स, राइट? सो इनका मतलब ज्यादातर तो इनका अपना ही है, अभी तो इनका अपना हो गया है, बट इनके थर्ड पार्टी भी ऑपरेट करते हैं, इज व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड.
Yeah, so they were more like a print as a service store earlier, wherein people could sell their design and they basically would do the printing part. But I don't think कि उनका कभी ऐसा model था, but whatever they started with quirky prints. I remember कि जब मैं college में था in 2013, so there used to be a guy in college जो t-shirt पहन के आता था, उस पे घंटा बना था. So that was the part कि मतलब something along the lines of घंटा, and the घंटा was the catchy thing. So we used to sell t-shirts like that. Then they've tried moving up market like any other D2C player in the last 3 to 4 years. And yeah, clearly they're doing very well. I think also there has been considerable consolidation in the space. इनके जो भी मतलब competitors थे like Pink Octopus, etc. They were around 5-6 big players in the t-shirt category basically. वो सब अब नहीं है. So I think it's
मिंत्रा के
right for
टाइम पे
them.
भी था ना सर, ये मिंत्रा से जस्ट मिंत्रा के बाद आया है, इफ आई रिमेम्बर. ये उसी
हाँ
के
मतलब they've
आसपास
been
का
around for
टाइमिंग है.
quite long. Yeah.
या
So हाँ मतलब and pretty much they don't have any competition right now.
बेवकूफ.com को कहाँ डालोगे आप?
बेवकूफ इनके जैसा ही था, but I think what really worked for them is कि they got licensed characters pretty early on. So I think
Yeah.
they started making Marvel, Disney ये सब. So उसकी वजह से people started discovering them early on. And बेवकूफ and stuff, I think they are also ran now. I think Pink Octopus तो बंद ही हो गया है.
हाँ सर, 200
Uh,
करोड़ का धंधा करता है बेवकूफ, ऐसा नहीं है। हमें नहीं पता क्योंकि हम शायद उनके टीजी नहीं रहे हैं अब। We have
हाँ,
moved out of their
most
TG.
part. नहीं, no offense, maybe like Kishore Biani sir said कि यार India एक market नहीं है, it's a collection of 10 markets, so
Yeah.
possibly right, but I think but Soul Store I think they're doing pretty well. यार everybody knows about them. They're selling premium merchandise also, which is working for them. So yeah, all's good.
Good morning, sir. You wanna say anything? So आज आप मिस कर गए. So we had a lot of B2C founders जो आकर के इंट्रोडक्शन देकर के गायब हो गए अभी. But मैं उनसे पूछने वाला था वैल्यू ऑफ डेथ के बारे में. But ठीक है. I think ट्रेवन है. ट्रेवन का थोड़ा सा रैगिंग लेंगे after this 3 months. ठीक है. But
Yes, I'm here. Don't.
ठीक है. So okay. So moving on to the next story. So ICICI Bank introduces UPI for NRIs through international mobile numbers. This is a big number. मतलब I'm very happy with this move, and this also shows कि UPI is en route to go international now slowly. तो थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में डिटेल में जाते हैं. Let me see क्या बोलती है. So ICICI has rolled out a new facility allowing its NRI customers to make UPI transactions in India using international mobile numbers. Previously, NRI had to register an Indian mobile number with their NRE or non-resident ordinary bank accounts to use the UPI. Now, the new facility allows ICICI Bank's NRI customers to use an international mobile numbers registered with their NRE or NRO accounts for UPI payments. This change applies to customers residing in 10 countries. The mobile bank confirmed that the service is available through its mobile banking app iMobile, providing an easy way for NRIs to make utility payments. क्या take है इसमें? So again, this is the way I look at it. मुझे तो at least ये लगता है कि ये तो this is a very logical step-by-step process of going global. Currently अभी जो लोग बाहर हैं इंडिया से ही उनके पास देते हैं, उनका ये देखते हैं, लेकिन अभी भी I think आपस में transaction I think they'll be testing out the आपस में transaction of these international people also using this and strengthen that as well. क्या take है इसमें आप लोगों का कुलमणि sir, anything you want to say on
Yeah,
this?
so international transactions are very complex in nature, right? When you are, let's say, transferring from HSBC to JP Morgan Chase in New York, you might have five different banks in the middle actually be involved as part of the transaction, right? But you will never, customer never gets to know. Usually, you need to have a contra account in the home currency where you are transferring to, etc. But see, UPI already 26 countries had requested, have requested in some form of another, but they're using the foundation, which is the Beam infra, and then building their own layers on top of it. So in a way, that instant payment settlement, India is way ahead. Even if you travel to US or UK, you will see the difference, right?
नहीं payments में तो sir India is number one, no doubt about that. The
Yeah,
more
so
international you
UPI
travel, you will realize.
UPI for me is already global, right? 20, 25 countries are already asking for it. But international transactions as such, the silos are not going away anytime soon. We should not kid ourselves. One of the reasons is currency is the domain of central banks in each of these countries. They want sort of the flow of transactions to be there, but they don't want it to be sort of out of their control. So that will be there. This is a good use case, right? Indian diaspora staying outside India, making payments through UPIs. Also, it helps because most of them will be adding money, I don't know, to the rupee, whatever currency they have, right? Converting that to rupee and adding to their UPI account. So that also helps on the currency. So I think it's a good sign. We'll see more such news items.
Yeah,
Sir,
hopefully.
Let's see.
I have a question. NRI accounts, as far as I know, the money is stored in rupees only. So I don't think कि उससे ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ेगा. It's like you can't hold dollars in an NRI account. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know much. But from what I know, it's supposed to be कि you are a non-Indian or non-Indian, but from tax purposes, right? NRI नहीं हो, अगर आप NRI हो, आप 6 months से ज़्यादा बाहर रहे हो, so you are not supposed to pay tax in India. You're supposed to pay tax in whatever country you were. But it is an account which allows you to hold your assets in rupees. I don't think you currency standpoint से फर्क पड़ेगा, but again, I'm happy to be correct.
Yeah, I mean, see, for me, if I have $2,000, what incentive do I have to park that in my NRI account? Right?
I don't.
Why don't I keep it on my?
I
Why
think
don't I
you
keep
cannot.
it in my? Why don't I keep it in my local account?
I think as far as I know, I have a couple of friends who are NRIs, so मेरा सारा knowledge second hand है. So what they basically use these NRI accounts for is, for example, doing small transaction in India. Just somebody has some ancestral property, वो rent पे दे रखी है, तो उसका rent rupees में आएगा. So you don't want to keep on paying the conversion tax हर बार. So what you do is you पैसा accumulate होने देते हो, फिर आपका मन करता है कि अच्छा इंडिया में प्रॉपर्टी में कुछ इन्वेस्ट करना है, कोई स्टॉक खरीदना है. So they use that as a rupee hedge, और उससे वो they keep on doing those transactions. But
Yes.
again, I don't know people who are managing, let's say, crores of rupees. These are few lakh, I would say, couple of lakh, 4-5 lakh रुपए तक का मुझे story पता है. I don't know how big shots use it. But from what I know is कि they use it basically कि अच्छा किसी relative को कुछ भेजना है, तो उनके लिए order कर दिया and stuff like that.
So what I meant, maybe there is some confusion. What I meant, if I have an onshore account in some country but that money is parked in the local currency, I didn't have any incentive to move that any money to my NRE or NRO. Now that I know it's connected to UPI, I'll be more likely to transfer, let's say, some money to that NRE or NRO account to do some local transfer from that angle. So if you have about, let's say, a few 100,000 people doing that, that helps your case, right? That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
maybe.
इससे भी हमारे पास नहीं आएगा ना, डेटा तो वहीं पे रहेगा, हैं पुरोनी सर?
हाँ यार, ऐसे हो रहा है.
मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि यूपीआई अगर 25 कंट्रीज में जाता भी है टेक्नोलॉजी, वो डेटा हमारे पास तो नहीं आएगा, वो डेटा तो वही रखेंगे हैं? या फिर हम भी अपना चाइना वाला तिगड़म लगा करके बैकडोर से डेटा चोरी करेंगे? Because
Likely, it's not likely.
if technology goes, I mean, what is it there for India? Do we take a commission on the transactions which are being made, or do we get paid in some other way? फिर गुडविल में तो देगा नहीं, या फिर बोलेंगे रेप्लिकेट कर लो, वो भी नहीं है. तो फिर what is it for us?
We can check. I think Singapore is already using it, right? We can check what is the arrangement we have with Singapore. But Singapore is a very small country. I think France has also asked for it, so we can check. These will be government to government. These technology transfer will be G to G, right? Because UPI, yeah, UPI, the Bhim infra, that money came from taxpayers, right? We funded it basically.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So Pay Now SG offers an enhanced fund transfer, FAQs. मुझे लग रहा है सर कहीं तो डेटा केटी भी हो रहा है. हाँ देखो, डीबीएस ट्रांसफर वाया पे नाउ यूपीआई. व्हाट इज इंडियन गवर्नमेंट गेटिंग? तो जल्दी से मूव ऑन करते हैं नेक्स्ट आने पर. कनेक्टिविटी मेजर माइलस्टोन क्लोजली अलाइंड G20 फाइनेंशियल ज्ञान है. who's going to benefit? ये देखो, who's going to benefit? Introduction. cross-border Ravimanan in India, UPI became most popular. Speaking initiative, ठीक है. पेटीएम, माइलस्टोन. तो पैसे के बारे में कोई बात ही नहीं करता यार ये सब ना. Currently, only a few banks. This partnership also presents. Linkage is a new avenue of payment experience for India. अच्छा, in fact, इसमें मेरे ख्याल से कुछ इनफैक्ट मोस्ट अवेलेबल चार्जेस 8.6%. मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पे कुछ लेता होगा ये. So now is a new avenue of payment experience and has diaspora finance Singapore and support Indian customers send money at the cheapest rate. Before this linkages, residents and business used to send money through physical wire transfer. In fact, the most reasonable available provider 8.6%. Whereas now customers can quickly send money, which मेरे ख्याल से वो कमीशन रेट का ही है गेम सर. ट्रांजैक्शन के ऊपर ये कुछ पेमेंट गेटवे चार्जेस बोलता है ना, जो पेमेंट गेटवे चार्जेस के बेसिस पे ही कमाएगा. Moreover, this move is predominantly strengthen India's position. ठीक है. Boost sales and trade. Moreover, this process. Okay. Supratik, real-time payment is just the beginning. Yeah, and India only had 6 banks. मेरे ख्याल से कमीशन ही है सर, मुझे जो समझ में आ रहा है. इंडियन गवर्नमेंट कमीशन कमा रही है. दिस इज अ व्हाट डू कॉल इट, ट्रेड में जो होता है ना आपका, उसी हिसाब से. आई थिंक मेरे को थोड़ा सा, आई थिंक आकाश अगर रहता, आकाश बता पाता. आज आकाश है नहीं. आकाश नहीं है ना. चलो कोई बात नहीं. Let's just move on to the next one.
This is very interesting because I would also like to know कि मतलब how does the government get to know कि क्या कितना transactions हुए हैं. मतलब as long as the money is coming into India, yes. But let's say if they are happening in France or in Singapore only in SGD or in euros, तो इंडिया में वो डेटा आएगा भी कैसे?
इंडिया में तो डेटा नहीं आएगा, लेकिन मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना कि अगर आप टेक्नोलॉजी ही पूरी की पूरी उधर दे रहे हो और आपके पास कोई डेटा का ये भी नहीं है, तो आप फिर कमीशन भी नहीं ले पाओगे. मतलब यू कांट डू अ साइलो. ये अगर आप SaaS प्रोडक्ट के हिसाब से अगर आप देखोगे, लेट्स से यूपीआई इज अ SaaS प्रोडक्ट, तो आपने बेसिकली उनको उनके सर्वर पे इंस्टॉल करके दे दिया, और उसके बाद हाउ डू यू मेक मनी? यू कैन मेक मनी आइदर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ यूसेज और ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिटेनरशिप मॉडल. यही दो मॉडल होंगे, राइट? या फिर पे यूसेज के लिए आपको डेटा का ट्रांसपेरेंसी चाहिए होगा, राइट? कुलमणि सर, और कोई तो मेरे को मॉडल दिखता नहीं है इसमें.
So see, the way I see it, all the central banks share data with each other. Pretty much that system is there. Uh, and overnight lending market is global now. So I think that way, I think sharing of data will not be a problem. They may not tell you what transaction ticket side and break up by age cohort and all those things, but they will share the data. What transaction?
ठीक
It's
है.
not a problem, right? It's an interconnected world. Yeah, it's been around for like 15, 20 years. All central banks communicate to each other. Like we saw on crypto, right? How they communicated and how they coordinated. Right?
मुझे तो ये लग रहा है सर, कमीशन भी कमाएंगे, और कोई है ही नहीं इसमें, और कुछ मुझे दिखता ही नहीं है कि भाई देखो, इंडिया में इंडियंस के लिए फ्री है अभी, लेकिन बाहर में तो चार्ज करेगा ना भाई. वो देगा आपको पूरा का पूरा टेक्नोलॉजी लगा
Also,
करके.
does not
हाँ.
make sense ना कि why should the Indian Finance Ministry मतलब as far as I know India में the Finance Ministry pays the banks for
Yeah,
the UPI volumes and everything,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
तो वो बाहर क्यों पे करेंगे? मतलब I don't मतलब makes no sense.
Normally paid 10%. मैं वही बता रहा हूँ, ये वो रेमिटेंसेस का पूरा इनफैक्ट इंटरनेशनल के लिए बहुत अच्छा यूज केस है यार यूपीआई. रियल टाइम है ना. वी हैव नेवर सीन एनीथिंग लाइक दिस बिफोर. चलो ठीक है, मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. अच्छा, ये पेमेंट गेटवे वाला है, इसको रहना दो. ओके. डीप टेक स्टार्टअप माइंड ग्रोव रोल्स आउट इंडियाज फर्स्ट इंडिया मेड माइक्रो कंट्रोलर चिप, which is a very big deal. तो SOC अभी तक, for the people who don't know about the microchip और microprocessor market, बहुत ही छोटी और चुनिंदा कंपनीज हैं जो ये काम करती हैं. छोटी नहीं है, मतलब कंपनीज बहुत बड़ी हैं, बट बहुत कम नंबर्स में. सो देयर इज क्वालकॉम, देयर इज इंटेल. एप्पल भी अपना अभी बनाना चालू किया है. उससे पहले ये लोग भी सैमसंग और क्वालकॉम के वहीं पे करते थे. ताइवान की पूरी लड़ाई ही सेमीकंडक्टर मार्केट के अराउंड है. And basically, these IoT chips, though, are not as technologically advanced as those, but it's still a big deal. And we'll come to that. थोड़ा सा इसमें deep tech में जाता है. So IIT Madras incubated Mind Grove Technologies is in the process of launching its own SoC for wide-ranging applications in the IoT space. They will most probably, मुझे जहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा है, the high-performing, low-energy consumption microcontroller has successfully completed the prototype. 28 नैनोमीटर नोड पे बिल्ड कर रहे हैं. ये बहुत ही बड़ा है. ये मेरे ख्याल से ऑटो या आईओटी में ही यूज हो सकता है. But let's see what they're saying. So SoC is an integral part. OEMs, IoT, wearables, watches, smart applications हर जगह पे यूज होता है. Challenges in acceptance of Indian design chips have reduced in the last 2 years. Higher clock frequency. So, जब मेरे को थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में आइडिया है, and I think if there are other people who know about this market can also chip in. Basically होता क्या है ना कि जो माइक्रो प्रोसेसर्स हम सुनते हैं, ज्यादातर माइक्रो प्रोसेसर के एप्लीकेशंस के बारे में हम स्मार्टफोन्स के बारे में सुनते हैं. बट इफ यू रियली लुक इनटू इट, a microprocessor is being used in any device which is electronic in nature. So ऑटोमोटिव में भी आपको लगता है, एसी में भी लगेगा, वॉशिंग मशीन, जिसमें भी रिमोट कंट्रोल आ गया, वहां पे किसी ना किसी फॉर्म का आपको एसओसी लगा ही होगा, राइट? नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इज स्मार्टफोन और जितना ज्यादा एडवांस्ड आपको प्रोसेसर की जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती है ना, वो मतलब द मोर एडवांस्ड एसओसी इज, द मोर डेंसली फिट इट इज, राइट? सो यहाँ पे जो इन अ सिंगल पीस ऑफ सिलिकॉन कितना 28 नैनोमीटर नोड जो बोल रहे हैं, जो स्मार्टफोन वाले जो होते हैं, जो द मोस्ट एडवांस्ड ones which are right now in the market are around 3 or 4 nanometers, जिसके ऊपर अभी मतलब the Qualcomms of the world basically work on that this thing. However, जो 80% of the applications of a semiconductor can very well be managed by a 10 to 20 to 30 nanometer वाला मोड. बिकॉज एक स्मार्टफोन के लिए आपको शायद बहुत छोटे नैनोमीटर इसके एसओसी की जरूरत पड़े, पर आप एक टीवी के लिए या फिर आप अपने ऑटो के लिए, ऑटोमोटिव के लिए या फिर वॉशिंग मशीन के लिए, you don't need that densely packed semiconductor. So 80% of the semiconductor market is basically comprises of the ones which need not be that densely populated. Hence, these kind of microprocessors which are being built in India are the ones which can actually, which have a lot of market out there, जो कि आराम से आप ले सकते हो अगर आपके पास cheaper alternative आया तो. Because अभी market में कोई ऐसे cheaper alternatives नहीं है, people have to make do with what is out there in the market. This is my 2 cents about this.
But
And I,
Sohail, don't you think this is
हाँ,
a bit suspicious because it says Indian design? Fabs की बात
हाँ,
करी नहीं है इन्होंने. And in a
हम्म,
world where you have ARM and you have RISC-V, which is open source basically, मतलब the whole Indian design thing seems kind of suspicious to me. मतलब for me, मतलब
ऐसा क्यों?
the suspicious person inside me wants to say maybe they're using some RISC-V design और उसके ऊपर कुछ change वगैरह करके कर रहे हैं. But as you said, now 28 nanometers. मतलब from what I have learned about fab capacity over the past 2-3 years, is as like in the industry, it's a race down to the bottom, right? Everybody wants to go one step lower. And you correctly said, I think they're down to 4 or 3 nanometer for the latest Apple M4. तो उसमें होता है, as far as my understanding goes, कि the moment they keep on stepping down, the fabs that were being used for the bigger chips, literally bigger now in this case, they keep on getting lower and lower number of orders. So they keep on getting cheaper. So possibly 28 nanometer, I think Intel वो 2003 या 4 में कभी use करता होगा. So they would be available for dirt cheap, I think. But I think the only suspicious bit I found is it does not talk about manufacturing at all. So I don't think anyway they are building in India. Maybe TSMC या कोई ही बना रहा होगा उनके लिए.
हाँ, so basically हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पे कि देखो ये ना अभी बस प्रोटोटाइप लेवल पे, they have successfully completed their prototype fabrication, so they are at level 1 right now. the startup hopes to start at scale commercial production and is in talks with multiple equipment manufacturers. So मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तो ये किसी न किसी फैक्ट्री में ही कराएंगे, ठीक है, बट इनके जो रेफरेंस बोर्ड्स है दे विल बी अवेलेबल फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरर्स टू ट्राई आउट इन द कमिंग वीक्स. अगर किसी मैन्युफैक्चरर ने बोला कि हाँ भाई ये तो सही लग रहा है, तब वो इसकी प्रोडक्शन में घुसेंगे. एंड यू राइट, आई थिंक प्रोडक्शन कैपेबिलिटी इनकी होगी नहीं, ये किसी ना किसी थर्ड पार्टी के थ्रू ही बनवाएंगे. सो या आई थिंक यू राइट, इसमें वही वाला गेम है. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, इंडिया में ये लोग बड़े वाले सेमीकंडक्टर्स के ही मार्केट को टैप इन करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक क्वालकॉम इज आल्सो सेटिंग अप a factory here in India, if I remember, सूरत या कहीं पे बिठा रहा है. एंड देन आप जो इंटेल वाली बात बता रहे हो, ये मुझे देखना पड़ेगा कि ये जो बड़े वाले मतलब जो इनका बड़े वाले 28 nanometer nodes and the ones which are not that densely populated, उसके रेट्स जो हैं, टेक्निकली इंडिया इज सेइंग कि यार देख 80% मार्केट अगर बड़े वाले इस्तेमाल करता है जिसमें उतनी ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी की जरूरत नहीं है, लेट मी ट्राई एंड get a little bit of a chunk of the market from there, and I will be able to give you cheaper because I have cheaper labor. ठीक है, but let's see, this is still
लिथोग्राफी ऐसी चीज में डू यू थिंक लेबर काउंट? आई डोंट थिंक लिथोग्राफी में.
मुझे नहीं पता, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, मुझे उसके बारे में आइडिया नहीं है कि कितना रेट नीचे गिरा सकता है ये.
हाँ.
ये नहीं, ये मतलब जब तक रेट निकलेगा नहीं बन के तब तक बताना मुश्किल है.
And मेरे को तो the design thing is also very suspicious ना, because मतलब I witnessed something Bruce Cloud में, and I was watching कि how AWS GCP also they're moving to RISC-V a lot. So मतलब the whole thing कि somewhere out of the blue कोई एक Indian chip design कर रहा है, I'm very suspicious कि ये क्या कर रहा है.
आईटी वाले लोग वैसे कॉपी पेस्ट बहुत जगहों से मारते हैं. ठीक है, सो यू नेवर नो कि कहाँ का आया है माल और कहाँ का ये है, बट मैं तो ये बोलूंगा जब तक आता नहीं है तब तक ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट टू द फाउंडर्स. लेट्स जस्ट
Very
मूव ऑन टू द.
interesting, मतलब on the face value very interesting.
हाँ हाँ, इंटरेस्टिंग है यार. ओके, मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Interesting data point. India remains Truecaller's top revenue source. When I say remains, that means it has been for a very long time. India में ही चलता है Truecaller, sir. So, and that has also a lot to do with the fact कि US में Android market ही उतना बड़ा नहीं है, और वहाँ पे इनको कोई मतलब there's not much of a this thing. So, Truecaller on Tuesday reported an 8% increase in net sales in India. India remains as one of the biggest markets for Truecaller, as it accounted for growth across all the three revenue streams. So Truecaller for business, premium subscription, and ads. All these three basically are doing well in India. Net sales in India reached 16 million SEK. Globally, the average number is increased by 39 million. Truecaller experienced a significant 5% surge in global ad revenue compared to the first quarter of 2023, driven largely by the increased demand for digital advertising, coinciding with the IPL. Interesting. IPL के अराउंड एक एपिसोड करना चाहिए ना गुलमणि सर. आईपीएल कितने लोगों का घर चला रहा है? आईपीएल इज लाइक दिवाली, नहीं, द सेकंड दिवाली ऑफ इंडिया. क्या लगता है गुलमणि सर?
Yeah, I have already written about this last year, so yeah, we can do that. I have
Yeah, yeah,
10 valuation of franchise.
आई थिंक इट्स मतलब वही है, दिवाली है सर. ये दिवाली में जिस तरीके से जनता डी मतलब ऑल द ब्रांड्स गेट रेडी फॉर दिस फेस्टिव सीजन ना. ऑल द ब्रांड्स गेट रेडी फॉर आईपीएल आल्सो ना. सेम कहानी है, बट दिस इज अ गुड वन. ओके, मूविंग ऑन टू नेक्स्ट वन. Reliance deal dented Disney India's business by $2 billion. ये उल्टा हो गया. So Walt Disney said it has incurred over $2 billion charges due to goodwill impairments related to Star India and Entertainment Linear Networks in India in Q2 2024. The Star India sports broadcast revenue fell 17% year on year to 105 million. Paid subscribers for its OTT arm Disney Hotstar has also decreased by 6%. तो यहाँ पे उल्टा हो गया है मामला कि जैसे ही हॉटस्टार को टेक ओवर की रिलायंस, इतना बुरा नाम है रिलायंस का मार्केट में कि जनता अक्वायर करती है उस कंपनी को, तो कंपनी के शेयर गिर जाते हैं भाई. It's a so goodwill impairment occurs when a company decides to pay more than the book value for the acquisition of an asset, and then the value of that asset declines. इसका क्या मतलब है सर, फुलमणि सर? What does this mean?
इसमें शायद थोड़ा सा
When a
गड़बड़ कर दिया.
company decides to pay
बेसिकली
more than
अगर
the book value.
ये वो इम्पेयरमेंट की
तो ये बोल रहा है कि 100 रुपए का माल 120 में खरीदा या बेचा और फिर उसके बाद घटा दिया 100 रुपए पे वापस ले आया.
से नहीं है. जनरली अकाउंटिंग इज द लैंग्वेज. तो होता क्या है कि ठीक इसमें थोड़ा सा कुछ रीजन है.
हाँ
जैसे किसी कंपनी को इफ यू एक्वायर समथिंग व्हिच इज वर्थ
हाँ
100 and then you pay 120, right? So
हाँ.
you mark 20 rupees as goodwill. And
अच्छा.
over a period of time, depending on which accounting principles you are using, whether in US, in India, which accounting principle, whether you are using GAAP, US GAAP, India GAAP, or something else, you keep re-evaluating that intangible asset which you have brought onto your balance sheet.
Hmm.
It's a very regular practice, and it's a good interview question also for kids. How does goodwill come onto the balance sheet? So,
तो इसमें बेसिकली हुआ क्या है? बेसिकली द गुडविल दैट वाज गिवन वो वैल्यू पर इरोड हो गई है.
वो reevaluate करा हुआ है accounting principles के हिसाब से, right?
Got it.
Fair value and market value, and then
Hmm. The resultant JV, which is valued at $8.55 billion on a post-money basis, will see Disney holding a 36.8% stake against Viacom's 46.8% and RIL's 60.34. Viacom और RIL तो RIL ही है यार, घुमा फिरा करके तो 50% से 60% तो इन्हीं के पास है फिर. Unnamed entity will boast of more than 120 TV channels, including Star Plus, Colors, and Star Sports. In addition, it will have Geo Cinema and Disney Plus. Um, Investment in the tune of 11,500 crore. Disney counts on the JV to continue to float its boat in the country. And the best of both worlds. ठीक है सर. 1% increase in revenue. ये बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. $2 billion का revenue increase हुआ है. चलो, moving on to the next one. बायजूस की एक और कहानी. हमारा यूजुअल वीकली बायजूस एपिसोड, मुझे सारे बायजूस वाले कंपाइल करके रखने पड़ेंगे स्टोरी. सो बायजूस amid cash crunch is now linking sales staff salaries to weekly revenues. So basically, Byju's is now linking sales team salaries to the revenues that they generate on a week-on-week basis. The new policy comes at a time when the cash-strapped company is struggling to pay salaries to its employees. As per sources, the company has internally announced the implementation of a new incentive structure for its sales workforce across all levels. And this will encourage the sales team to bring in new enrollments, as May and June are peak business periods for the company. And also, inbound lead volumes are highest during this period. The new model is being launched as a pilot program, and comprehensive training has been introduced to the sales team. The new structure is applicable to the company's inside sales and Byju's exam prep teams. क्या कहना है इस बिजनेस? ये तो मेरे ख्याल से वही है कि जितना सेल करोगे उतना पैसा मिलेगा. मतलब इंसेंटिव इन्होंने वेरिएबल कंपोनेंट ज्यादा बढ़ा दिया है, फिक्स कंपोनेंट कम कर दिया. दैट इज व्हाट इट इज, राइट? देयर इज नथिंग एल्स टू इट. और am I reading it wrong?
More like a commission-based sales kind of a role, मतलब in general principle.
This comes days after the
wait,
company cleared part of pending salaries last month. चलो, कुछ तो पैसा मिला.
this
Sorry,
we discussed I think last episode only, na, where I told you that not salary
आप
30
आकाश वाला
crores.
कुछ तो बता रहे थे.
Yeah, he took 30 crores loan, but he still doesn't have access to the rights issue money, right? Court has still barred him from accessing that money, that 100 million. We cannot
Yeah,
access that.
तो ये
that
बेसिकली
that
मंथली
that
से वीकली पे चला गया है, बेसिकली ये हुआ है, मंथली से
So
वीकली सैलरी पे
last
चला गया है।
payroll is around 50 CR per month, I think, if I'm not.
बायजूस का
So that's
निकालते हैं
why,
डेटा भाई, मैं
हाँ,
बायजूस का डेटा
तो वो
निकालता हूँ, मैं भूल ही गया था। इट्स अ ग्रेट वन। ठीक है, हाँ, सॉरी सॉरी, बोलो सर।
So last month he took 30 crores personal credit line with the salary. That part पे पीछे गया था.
Three factors will decide the percentage. हाँ, अच्छा। Uh, Three factors will decide the percentage of payout the sales staff will receive. Number one, revenue generated by each employee. Number two, their designation. And number three, the number of sales associates working in their team. तो पैसा बेसिकली बटेगा। इट्स लाइक पाई, जितना ज्यादा लोग होंगे उतना कम पैसा मिलेगा आपको। अगर आप अकेले हो और स्टड हो तो फिर आप आग लगा रहे हो, आपको सारा पैसा मिलेगा। तो पूरा का पूरा ही इन्होंने वेरिएबल स्ट्रक्चर पर मूव कर दिया है। इंटरेस्टिंग। Anybody else has anything to say about this? Viren, Shubhankar, Dr. Mohan?
आई थिंक वो बोलते हैं ना कॉर्पोरेट से लाला कंपनी, आई थिंक बायजूस रिवर्स में चल रही है, डे बाय डे इट्स बिकमिंग मोर लाइक अ लाला कंपनी।
हाँ, पैसे बचाने वो पड़ रहे हैं ना सर, क्या करोगे? एक एक रुपए का इनको हिसाब देना पड़ रहा है अभी। बैंड बज
बट
गई
more
है।
than
आई थिंक
nothing,
ऑल्सो
I
यार
think वो
मतलब
जो the whole fundamental has been kind of rattled. तो जो growth तो वो जो चल रहा था कि investors का, so there was more money coming in than what was going on. The moment that has been blocked for a while, they have been rattled and they don't know what to do. Seems more like on that front.
बट सर मतलब मेरा थोड़ा सा टेंडेंशियल नोट पे क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाई डज बायजू रविंद्रन नीड टू डू दिस? इतने साल कंपनी चलाई है, बोथ हिम एंड हिज वाइफ दे वर द टॉप two positions on the board and everything. They would have accumulated massive amounts of personal wealth by now.
Yeah,
तो
they have.
मतलब हाँ मतलब आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दे हैव, तो मतलब ये करने का अब जरूरत क्या है इनको? मतलब दे कैन वेरी वेल शट शॉप एंड से अब कोई पैसे मांगने भी नहीं आ रहा है इनसे, कुछ भी नहीं है। मतलब आई व्हाट फेल्स मी इज कि मतलब from a public perception they were not doing well since covid or even before that. तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई पीआर डिजास्टर है इनके लिए या कुछ, एवरीथिंग हैज हैपेंड। तो ये सैल्वेज कर क्या रहे हैं? आई एम एट अ फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड।
हाँ, मैं भी अभी ना इसी के ऊपर पूछने वाला था, बात करने वाला था कि एक्चुअली ये लोग अभी कर क्या रहे हैं, ये सब का जरूरत ही नहीं। मतलब क्या का रीजन क्या है, किस तरह का वर्क प्रोसेस भी।
मतलब किस चीज के बारे में पूछ रहे हो आप कि क्या क्या कर रहे हो? मतलब why are they not leaving?
Why
और
are they not shutting the?
ये ईगो वाली बात है सर, नथिंग एल्स।
Soil ji,
बायजूस वो
I'll tell you
Byju's
one
started
story.
it. Byju's didn't start it as a startup, na. Byju's was started. Byju's was a मतलब it started off as a very organic
कोचिंग
way.
कोचिंग सेंटर था सर।
कोचिंग सेंटर था, कोचिंग सेंटर पहले ऑफलाइन था, फिर ऑनलाइन आया, फिर ऑफलाइन गया, फिर ऑनलाइन आकर के पैसे उठाए। दे हैड ग्लोबल एम्बिशंस, दे वांटेड टू बी द बिगेस्ट। This is
Uh,
I don't look, I mean, it's again at the end of the day, the attitude of the founder and the way he looks at the company. This is what it speaks more about. I think
yeah.
Byju's
Another
इसको
another
ये वही बोल रहा है कि यार देख, मैं कंपनी
sorry.
बंद नहीं करूंगा, कुछ नहीं, वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो वापस से कोचिंग सेंटर बन जाऊंगा, पर मैं कंपनी बंद नहीं करूंगा। मेरे को तो ये लग रहा है, बिकॉज दे नेवर
ठीक
रियली लुक्ड एट इट एज अ स्टार्टअप कि मैं पैसे उठा रहा हूँ, फंडिंग होगी तो चलाएंगे, नहीं होगी तो बंद करके चले जाएंगे। क्या लगता है? गुड मॉर्निंग सर, व्हाट इज योर टेक ऑन दिस? यू आर द मोस्ट दिस थिंग हियर on this matter.
So I think Treman sir wanted to add
हाँ,
something.
त्रिमन
Let
सर।
him go first.
I तो just want to say this online coaching classes. I want to share my friend's experience. His son was studying the 10th standard exam on coaching. So when they had to go and give the exam, when he had to go and give the 10th standard exam in the examination hall, All the time he was doing all this work on a laptop. When on the answering sheet he had to write his name, he couldn't hold his pen to write his name because
कौन से साल का बच्चा है ये?
he was used a 14-16-year-old child.
Oh my
He
God.
used to working only on laptop, and when he has to write his answer papers by hand, he knew everything, but he was not used to holding a pen and writing. And this became a big issue in the family. When he came home and started doing the same paper on his laptop, he did it fabulously well. But sitting on in the examination hall and writing with his pen, he couldn't even write his name. Now, has any of the parents ever thought about this? We give laptops to our children, but the laptop is not allowed in the examination hall. There's a big deterrent to all coaching classes when they do online.
यार ये जो है ना, ये हमारा, मुझे याद है जब मैं जेई दे रहा था, जेई था, कौन सा था, जेई नहीं, कैट था, कैट। कैट में हुआ था जब पहले पेन पेपर होता था, उसके बाद ऑनलाइन हो गया। आई थिंक ये तो बहुत ही वो वाली चीज है यार, कि आपका अगर मोड ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन इज पेन एंड पेपर, देन यू शुड प्रैक्टिस ऑन पेन एंड पेपर, एंड
Yeah,
ऑल्सो द फैक्ट
exactly.
कि
Exactly,
या
Sohail. Yeah,
हाँ
for that the coaching class has to insist. Please keep
हाँ।
your laptop on the side and start using a pen and paper.
हम्म।
तो आप बोल रहे हो बायजूस में तो पेन एंड पेपर का सिस्टम ही नहीं है, ये तो ऑनलाइन ही
नहीं
सिस्टम
बात
ही
है।
खत्म कर दिया उसने।
नहीं बायजूस में
हाँ।
नहीं, कोई भी कोचिंग क्लासेस में नहीं ऑनलाइन वाले बायजूस वाई सिग्नल और बायजूस none of the
Majority
online coaching classes have this.
in the
ये
school.
वैलिड
So
पॉइंट
what
है यार, ये
done
तो मैंने
is
सोचा नहीं उतना।
wala level of exam pattern is written. So all the edtechs have to think of something on that line as well.
हम्म, हम्म,
In this, the poor child has nothing. He's done his work. Unfortunately, he's not used to writing with a pen anymore.
हम्म,
हम्म।
Sir, I'll
इंटरेस्टिंग
tell a
पॉइंट।
reverse story as well. So I'll tell a reverse story as well. So one of my colleagues medically in his NEET PG exam. So now NEET has become a MCQ based computer based system exam. A lot of international these exams are there. So this guy was damn good. Matlab he's today he is a neurosurgeon, but he had to leave a year of his preparation just because he couldn't manage his speed on the laptop because queries he was not comfortable using the whole system in the exam center. So the point there being that whatever we are doing, our mode of examination and our mode of preparation has to align there. And this edtech companies would have to specifically bring that in. If that objective is not aligned, somewhere we'll lose on that front.
Agreed, sir. It has to be a hybrid kind of a situation where both your laptop and your pen and paper have to be aligned.
And coming back to bike, I have another thought process on this. Uh, I am not sure. I've not seen the Baiju's whole statistics and numbers in detail right now, latestly. How much real estate holding do they have? Have they gone into some MACD's kind of model where they've procured a lot of real estate for the centers and this thing, especially after Akash and Baiju's merger? Because I personally think that that could be a deterrent of them not shutting the shop. Because then that might have to be given away, and that is a real gold mine or asset for on their otherwise credentials.
So Akash is, yeah, so Akash, I think now pretty much Chaudhary family is back in the driving seat. Manipal Group, along with Chaudhary plus private equity firm, they are the majority owners. Byju's cross holding in this will be a minority now. Earlier, it was possible when they were in the majority owning of them to do a hard pivot. That was also, I would have given them less than 5% probability of less than
No, no.
by
On
4%.
probability of success, I also feel that Byju's has always been a push strategy for sign up. So the customer acquisitions came in limelight a number of times. that their sales were pushing people very hard and doing all sorts of stuff we should not be in generally discussing to get their numbers high on the enrollment phase. I have personally seen this happening with few kids of my colleagues. So my colleagues were pressurized, almost like kind of hooliganism happened at that level for Byju's sign up.
नहीं, वो कहानी नहीं है ना सर, that's a different tangent. I think
So
नहीं,
to
I don't want to understand. What I am seeing is कि maybe आकाश और ये सब का real estate asset भी है, which they do not want to lose out. Hence, that shutting shop वाला side पर they are not moving on to that side. मतलब otherwise they could very well do because they made good money out of it as a startup. Second factor, of course, what we were discussing earlier, जो ego वाली बात हम कर रहे थे कि founders ego और this कि क्यों उसको करना है, will come back to the old model.
हम्म, so आप बोल रहे हो, I think
आकाश, हाँ,
हम्म,
तो आकाश की जो भी आईपीओ की प्रोसीड्स थी, whatever that planned proceeds were, they already pledged that also for
अच्छा,
warrant.
Okay, that's what
Right.
I was thinking.
So that was pledged last year only. They had pledged that last year. Now, after the restructuring, they are in minority after dilution, etc. And that's how the younger Chaudhary is back as CEO, right?
Okay.
I don't know what are the possible scenarios now for Byju's from here. That would be interesting to think about.
वापस जाएगा सर, वो कोचिंग स्टूडियो खोलेगा अपना वापस से,
Yeah.
मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको। वो ऐसा ही
Sohail sir,
बंदा है वो,
matlab,
he'll go
don't
back
you
to
think
zero.
it's
हाँ,
very difficult. It's very
नहीं,
difficult
why?
from like only because you are running a company of 50,000 people to go down to running a company of 50 people.
सर, मैं हमेशा ये बोलता हूँ कि you should never look at yourself or anyone as a statistic or a data point. Because everybody as an individual, वो क्या decision लेगा will never be dictated by what has been statistically working or not. ठीक है, it is completely dependent on what that guy wants to do. तो जो जाने वाला बंदा यार, कंपनियां जीरो मतलब हीरो से जीरो होती है, बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स ऑफ कंपनीज गो डाउन एंड देन द फाउंडर रीस्टार्ट्स अगेन. देयर हैव बीन मल्टीपल स्टोरीज लाइक दैट. We can't write
हम्म,
off Byju's just because of this one thing. Of course, mistakes were made, but mistakes were made because of multiple different variables. Market conditions का भी तो game था ना sir. They rode the wave,
सही बात।
and they also became, they were the poster child of edtech, and then they also became the scapegoat. Example
Maybe
भी उन्हीं का बना.
I'm with you on this. कि मतलब nothing against Byju's or anything. But
हम्म,
I'm like कि अगर वो if they want to go back to that coaching center model, so they can still go back ना under a
yeah, they
different
will.
umbrella. Under a
अभी
different umbrella.
अभी इनका बैगेज इतना ज्यादा है ना दोस्त, बैगेज को जीरो करना पड़ेगा ना सबसे पहले, आप ये भी तो समझो. See, if had you been in their position, अब तुम्हारे पास इतना ज्यादा कर्जा है, तुम कर्जा तो चुकाओगे ना किसी तरीके से, उसके बाद तुम सोचोगे आगे क्या करना है.
बट
अभी तो
मेरा कर्जा मैं क्यों लूंगा कर्जा तो कंपनी का है ना.
वहीं पे तो डिफर करता है ना माइंडसेट. क्या लगता है इसमें गुलमणि सर, इज दिस अ माइंडसेट थिंग और इज इट अ लीगल दिस थिंग?
So he has given personal guarantee for this guideline last month, and he has done a lot of. He has given a lot of personal guarantees.
सर वो
So
तो
it's not only.
मतलब this is only very recent, right? In the past 6 months, 1 year, I think only they have started dipping into their personal pool. बट उससे पहले तो मतलब I think they should have left it 3 years back. बट मैं वही कह रहा हूँ कि I still don't know कि मतलब why are they going after it and they're putting their own money and everything. मतलब that's just bizarre to me.
Well, it's bizarre. Entrepreneurship in itself is bizarre. It's a contrarian way of living life. We should not apply normal standards to entrepreneurs. Right? We can't expect them to dream billions of dollars and then play like the normal all of us. They take the contrarian bet. They think differently, and that's why they're there, right? And we should accept it. I mean, see, investors also. I mean, it's fair, right? They were expecting. They took their bets. Now the house is not in order or whatever. The bets have not come to as they fruition as they expected them to. They should accept it. Right? They should. The IRR kind of investing, anyways, is not what they were thinking about. They were thinking that this 1 rupee will go to whatever 1,000, 10,000, right? So I'm sure. I'm sure they will explain to their investment committee, go back and write off. Anyway, this right issue was at 250 million post money valuation. Their peak of their valuation, they were at 25 billion or 20 billion. So, anyways,
Hmm.
it's 99, 90, 90, 95% value is gone, right? On paper, whatever was that on paper. So, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter what he does. But we cannot apply those normal standards to India. We cannot ask him, he should give in 3 years ago, he should do this. He's an entrepreneur, he's contrarian, I'm sure he has much more visibility into what.
उसने अपना कुछ ना कुछ तो सोचा। मुझे एक बात बताओ, दिस एक्चुअली मेक्स मी थिंक अबाउट अन अकेडमी आल्सो, कि उसके ज्यादा न्यूज़ निकलता नहीं है, लेकिन वो उसका क्या कंडीशन है अभी? ही दे आर गोइंग वेरी बुलिश ऑन ऑफलाइन इज व्हाट आई नो, ये ऑफलाइन सेंटर्स
I
ही
will,
बन रहे हैं अभी।
uh, I will give you one example of their offline. In South Delhi, we have this one Ramnath House building which they
हाँ,
took on rent. I think they ran it for 2 months, and last week I was driving by, it has been shut down. The
हाँ।
large offline building they had probably taken on lease. The board is still there, but there are no students. I don't know
हम्म।
what that tells us. I just have one data point, but that's a prime property they took. And it just, I didn't even know that
हाँ,
this is an academy. Just observed.
सोचना चाहिए।
हाँ। क्या बोल रहे हो वीरेन, कुछ बोल रहे हो? Very nice. Okay, moving on to the next one. I think जल्दी जल्दी करते हैं. I think we're already short. Apple sets revenue record in India amid global slowdown. तो इंडिया में मतलब सारे लोग पैसा बना रहे हैं इंडियंस को छोड़ के। मुझे तो ये लग रहा है। So Apple
वही तो चीज
sets
है।
Apple sets revenue records in India amidst overall slump, says CEO Tim Cook. So basically, overall revenue declined 4%, um, and we did grow strong by double digits, and so we are very very pleased. अच्छा ये इसमें मैं दूसरा निकालता हूँ. They will not be able to allow us to read Apple India the दूसरा. हाँ, 50,000, 50,000. क्या बात है, ईटी टेलीकॉम 70,000 इंडिया से 4 मार्च का डेटा है, पुराना न्यूज है। सेट टू क्लॉक ओवर, यस। So what they are saying is double digit revenue growth rate has happened this time around. We did grow strong double digits, so we are very very pleased. It is a new March quarter revenue record for us. I see it as an exciting market and a major revenue focus. मोदी साहब से भी इनकी मुलाकात हुई है अभी अभी। मुझे एक बात बताओ, इंडिया में डबल डिजिट ग्रोथ जो है अभी जो हम देख रहे हैं, इंडिया हैज प्रिडोमिनेंटली बीन एन एंड्रॉयड मार्केट एंड आईफोन वाइल हैज बीन देयर, एस्पिरेशनल वाले तो हमेशा ही खरीदते थे, बट डज द साइन ऑफ दिस रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ शो दैट इंडियन कंज्यूमर्स या फिर मिडिल क्लास इंडियन कंज्यूमर्स जो हैं, नाउ दे कैन अफोर्ड मोर ऑफ एन आईफोन? इज दैट द साइन विच इज कमिंग आउट? क्या लगता है इसमें?
नहीं, Sohail, the interpretation is a little different.
हम्म।
Is 80,000 crores or 70,000 crores, what number you are referring to?
हम्म।
That is the production of iPhone in India for exports and
हम्म।
and for India use. Out of this 70,000, how much is consumed in India? That is left to guesswork, and how much is exported. The sense which people who are aware of this situation are saying that 80% or 85% is exported, 15 to 20% has been consumed in India. That is what I am getting to understand.
Hmm. So you are saying that these are production numbers and not sales numbers.
Yeah, these are production numbers,
But
overall production numbers in India.
India में production,
They are doing
35%.
it.
as
Yeah.
Apple moves production out of China, India seems to be a clear beneficiary. The
Mm.
company is understood to have had a record production of 14 million in India last year, with the bulk of output being exported. Apple said
Hmm.
it is also partnering with partners in India and US to replace 100% of water it uses. Okay. Quarterly revenue. So globally, Apple posted a quarterly revenue 9.8. Second quarter this thing. हाँ तो I think you're right. I think you're right. I think ये production को data के बारे में बात कर रहा है, not just about sales data.
Yeah.
But my question still stands कि नहीं मतलब मेरे ख्याल से वो data point ही फिर गलत है. Very good point. ठीक है, सही है.
Data point interpretation is different, but overall, in general, we are seeing more adoption of iPhone here. मतलब in at least in metros, as a regular viewpoint, the usage of iPhone has increased, and
नहीं
one
so
factor could be the increased cost of Android phones also, so the gap is reducing.
नहीं नहीं यहाँ पे देखो एप्पल इंडिया सेल्स का डेटा भी मिल गया है. In February, Apple India crossed the significant sales milestone of $8 billion. This marks the second consecutive year in which the iPhone maker has experienced sales growth exceeding 40%.
Sohail, what he saying is right. That is the
Hmm.
billing of the company. Out of that billing, how much has gone into exports and how much into domestic consumption is not given.
ये देखो
See,
टू
this is
परसेंट
a joint venture with Tata.
हम्म
The joint venture with Tata. The export is also billing for them. It's a
अच्छा
revenue. It's a revenue for
हम्म, वो डेटा निकालना पड़ेगा बट
them.
वैलिड
बहुत
पॉइंट
निकालना
है. For the uninitiated, FOB is the price of a product when it leaves the factory, while the market value includes other charges and tax and dealer commissions. Apple
FOB is
manufactured
not value. FOB is
freight
free
on
on
board.
board.
Freight on board,
Free
yeah.
on board. Yeah. So that's for
Well,
export.
mm, interesting. सही है भाई. इंडियन गवर्नमेंट मतलब पैसा बना रही है. अच्छी अच्छी. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Bheem app to join ONDC to take on rivals Google Pay and Phone Pay. So Bheem is preparing to make its foray into the e-commerce sector via the ONDC market. According to ET, this move aims to challenge the market dominance of Google Pay and Phone Pay. Uh, the initiative, expected to be launched through a separate division, seeks to enhance Bheem's user base by offering a diverse range of products and services, including food and beverages, groceries, fashion. अच्छा तो भीम ऐप के अंदर अब आपको एनडीसी मिलेगा या फिर भीम ऐप विल बी उल्टा है कि कैसा है. द ऐप विल foray into e-commerce space on ONDC. With this, the users of the payments app मतलब ये भीम के बारे में बात हो रही है ना, will be able to shop. हाँ तो भीम के अंदर बेसिकली जैसे पेटीएम में मिलता है ना खाना पीना वो सबका ऑप्शन आ जाएगा फिर. ओके. आई थिंक हमने ओएनडीसी के बारे में डिस्कशन की हुई है पहले एंड हमारा भी टेक वही है कि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स अ सर्विसेज गेम. ओएनडीसी विल टेक एट लीस्ट अनदर 5 to 6 years to start giving a decent enough this thing. But this is where we stand. Meanwhile, e-commerce giants like Flipkart and Amazon are said to be looking to set up ONDC forefronts on their homepages as well. Any
Hey,
take on this?
this is a misdirection. Just the last line is a misdirection. They have been instructed by the government that they should have an ONDC storefront. The
नहीं तो
only
अपना
reason
कमीशन
they're
क्यों देना चलेगा.
the only reason
सेंटर
they're looking
asks.
to set up the only reason they are looking to set up is because they've been asked to.
अच्छा वो भी छोटा सा इन लोग भी तो निकालते हैं ना. एक छोटा सा बना करके दे देंगे साइड में. पॉपअप इसको बटन दबाओगे तो बंद भी हो जाएगा वो. अच्छा ठीक है. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट वन. Swiggy is going in for an IPO. Swiggy targets an annualized $1 billion in GMV for Instamart in 2022, but the vertical continues to be. Why? Yeah, really? हम लोगों ने इतनी बड़ाई की है स्विगी इंस्टामार्ट की, अब तुम मेरे को बोल रहे हो कि स्विगी इंस्टामार्ट लॉस कर रहा है. ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग केस स्टडी है. While Blinkit is basically the poster child for Zomato, Why is Instamart failing Swiggy? Swiggy seems to be a race against time to show decent numbers and get ready for a 1.2 billion IPO. Unlike the company's largest shareholder process, was to pound the IPO table with a higher valuation. The management are looking at a discount of Swiggy, but then it is only natural to often figure. So he's looking for pure how Swiggy makes money. Swiggy subscription events से भी पैसा बनाता है ये कमीशन एड ये तो मतलब इससे um, Swiggy to say no to a SaaS valuation. So this is net losses have actually increased. And revenue from ops, revenue from sales, revenue from Instamart, revenue from ops is growing. Zomato notably uh, target, but the vertical continues to be Swiggy's Achilles heel. For the first 3 quarters of FY 2024, Swiggy's Instamart vertical posted a total loss of 200. Loss is fine, but growth on year कितना जा रहा है ये देखना ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग है year on year या फिर quarter on quarter and loss reportedly in contrast Decathlon loss as per report clock revenue 1.2 billion uh, 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 ऐसा क्यों है सर any idea any thought on this why this is happening Instamart is going down and everything else is going up.
So, like the only thing I have here, which I've observed recently, and as somebody who uses both all three actually Zepto, Blinkit,
Yeah.
Instamart extensively, is Instamart is bundled in. So, for example, if you have Swiggy One membership, you don't have to pay anything else on Instamart. Whereas even if I have Zomato Gold, Blinkit, I'm still paying that 5-10 rupee delivery fee, right? So I think it just boils down to that. Instamart usually tends to be cheaper for me as well, what I've observed.
It's a very valid
Like
point,
because
Subankar. Hmm.
they will be charging 5 rupees for delivery, but Blinkit will usually end up charging me 25-30 rupees.
Okay. Be the partnership with IRCTC to deliver pre-delivered meals to train passengers are merging its insanely good with Instamart. The startup has taken a number of steps to boost revenue and curbs its losses. Push for profitability. Matlab, it's very weird, yeah. So I think your point is valid. So what you are saying is that the amount of revenue that Blinkit or a Zepto is making is from the delivery fee. And if somebody is already in Zomato and they have a Swiggy One, then technically Instamart is not making any money. Instamart is just मतलब ops expense ले रहा है लेकिन revenue नहीं ले रहा है. Interesting point. Then that brings me to the question कि how many of the people who are Instamart users are also Swiggy One users? That will be the next point of question. जिसका मेरे ख्याल से हमारे पास डेटा नहीं है. Invesco back ठीक है sources back last year massive restructuring exercise mass layoffs चलो ठीक है इसका भी थोड़ा सा हमें देखना पड़ेगा no giveaway for you guys no, we'll do a giveaway there is a giveaway for everyone in fact anybody who has access to this PDF is also eligible all you need to do is go to our YouTube channel choose the favorite video from our channel and post it on LinkedIn, tagging us, and you will win a copy of Start With Why from Simon Sinek. In case you people are interested, I've anyway shared the PDF. There are some of our latest releases, and we also have a limited edition merch. जो हम कभी किसी के इसके बारे में पब्लिसाइज नहीं करते पर अब धीरे धीरे हम चालू कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में पब्लिसाइज करना. I think this is it for today. For all of you guys who have tuned in and I think आज काफी अच्छा viewership रहा है हमारा weirdly and then we've got a lot of new people also have joined in so I think for the streamers for the people who are watching the stream we'll close the stream here and we'll see you guys next week again same place same time hopefully with a few of the people